If you are an LDS mother whose children have left the church, probably the thing that you want me most to tell you is, how do I bring my children back to the church? How do I get them active again? And unfortunately, I don't have any answers for you there. In fact, I can pretty much tell you that whatever you do to push them back into the church, to drag them, pull them, coerce them, it will come between you and them, and it will just push them farther away from the church and farther away from you. But what I do want to talk about today is, if that's not our responsibility, if we're not responsible for bringing our children back to the church, then what is our responsibility and what can we do? My name is Carrie Bates, and I am a family relationships coach, and I have 6 amazing, beautiful, wonderful adult children who all have stepped away from the church for one reason or another, and that has been a very painful journey in a lot of ways, but it's also been a very beautiful journey. And it sounds weird to say, but I'm really grateful for the chance that I've had to go through this with my kids, and for all of the things that I've learned. And so I'm just here to kind of share some of the things that I've learned and hopefully help any mothers that are going through a similar situation. So if you have children who have left the church, you've probably heard people tell you that your job is just to love them. And that's true, right? We say that over and over again. Just love them. Just love them. And this is the truth. It is just our job to love them. But what does that actually look like in practice? Like, what does that look like in our day-to-day life? To love our children, even when they're doing something that breaks our heart, even when we feel like what they're doing is wrong, feel like what they're doing is going to ruin their lives. How do we just love them?
So what do we mean when we say we love our children? I think it comes in 2 parts. I think first, it means that we're emotionally invested in them, right? We care about them. We care about their happiness and their well-being. And when they're happy, we're happy. And when they're sad, we're sad. And we are concerned that they have what they need. And then the other part is that we're devoted to them. We're willing to sacrifice for their happiness and their well-being and their growth, whether that be our time or our sleep or our financial resources or anything else, that we're willing to make sacrifices and help them in any way that we can. We're devoted to them.
Now I want you to consider for a minute, just think about somebody who really loves you, who when you're with them, you just really, really feel loved. And what do you think it is about that person that makes you feel really loved? And most of the time, what makes us feel really loved is to feel really deeply accepted. Like, this person knows me, knows all of the good and all of the bad about me, and they care about me anyways. They love me anyways. And they see the best in us. And so there's a book called How to Be an Adult in Relationships. And it's by David Richo, Richo. I hope I'm getting that right. But he talks about 5 emotional needs that we have. And most of the time when we really feel loved, it's because somebody is meeting those emotional needs. So the 5 emotional needs he talks about are attention, affection, acceptance, and then appreciation and allowing. That last one is allowing. And sometimes I like to use the word agency for that one. But we're really good at some of those, right? We're pretty good about attention and affection. We're sometimes good about appreciation, but accepting and allowing are the ones that we're usually really struggling with our children, which makes sense, right? It makes sense that this is hard to accept because they're going against what we've taught them. They're choosing things that we feel are dangerous and scary. They're making choices that we feel are going to harm them and harm our family. And so it makes sense that it's really hard to accept. And also it's really hard to just allow them to make the choices that they're going to make. Like, I used to always think when my kids were little or when they were teenagers and stuff that I will give you your agency when you know how to use it. Right? Like, it's tough to just
stand back and let them make their own choices. But if you think about it, we don't feel loved when we feel controlled. We don't feel loved when we feel like it's conditional. That doesn't feel like real love to us. And so those two parts of loving our children are hugely important. And we have to learn how to do it. We have to learn that. It's a skill. It's a skill that we have to build. And it's part of becoming like our Heavenly Parents. It's part of learning to love as our Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother love us. And so that's going to be my next topic I'm going to cover, is some of the things that have helped me to learn to love more unconditionally and to extend that allowing and that acceptance to my children who have left the church. I hope you'll come back for that.